Assalamualaikum sisters. Alhamdulillah, we are back again today, Saturday night, 18 December, in our episode 4 of Sisters Chit Chat. And today we have a very special sister that I've already mentioned to you last week. Okay, but before I go into the details about this sister Wati, okay, I would just like to encourage all of you to like, to comment, and thanks. I really like to say thank you to all the sisters out there who has given your comments, and alhamdulillah, basically the comments are very positive. And this is our 4th episode, and during our episode 1 and 2 and 3, if you happen to miss them, no worries, you can always watch the replays. You can just go to my FB, Zarina Zaharuddin, watch the replays. And the best part is that you can watch them while you are jogging, cooking, maybe driving, sending your husband, your children to school. And so you can hear the sharing from the sisters, how they went through life, and all the exciting things that we have shared from our hearts. So this is another sister that will share from her heart, and she is all the way from Canada. So Assalamualaikum, apa khabar Siswati?
Waalaikumsalam, khabar baik. Apa khabar Zarina?
Alhamdulillah baik. Terima kasih. Merci beaucoup. For accepting my invitation. Today in Singapore we are 8 p.m. and I understand in Canada it is 5 a.m.
Yes, wow. It's very early here. Yes.
Itu waktu tahajud tu. Kan. Alhamdulillah, mungkin lepas ni kita boleh sama-sama tahajud. Okay.
InsyaAllah.
So just a little bit background, sisters out there. How I get to know this is Siswati. For your info, we have known each other since we were 13.
13, yes. Subhanallah. That long, yes.
That long. And now we are, okay lah. We are in our 40s lah. We are in our 40s, but do you look like in our 40s?
No.
Okay. She said no. All right. So yes, since we are 30, that long, and alhamdulillah, I'm so happy, we grow together from single, daripada anak dara, sekarang jadi mak dara, tak lama jadi mak dara kan. So okay, so much about that. So another thing I'm also amazed with Wati is that her colorful life journey. She was born in Malaysia. Then she grew up in Singapore. That's how we met. And then eventually she got married and settled down in Canada. So Sis Wati, I also amazed at your multi languages. Bonjour, selamat pagi, and ça va. I'm trying to pick up my action dah berkarat tu.
Yelah.
Okay. So to you Sis Wati, thank you so much again from me, from the bottom of my heart. Maybe you can share with us which part of Canada are you exactly at?
Well, right now I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, so it's in central Canada. But where, like you said, how I picked up French, because I lived for 9 years in Montreal in Quebec, so that's the French province. So that's why I learned French there. And even after I moved to Alberta, my kids are still in French schools.
Okay. So am I right to say that your children speak French, English?
French and English, minta maaf, dia orang tak cakap, saya tak ajar dia orang Melayu.
Saya tak salahkan anda, memang tidak ada peluang untuk anak-anak anda bercakap Melayu kan?
Yelah, pasal bekas suami saya pun dia bukan orang Melayu, dia orang Arab, jadi kat rumah kita orang berbahas dalam bahasa Inggeris atau Perancis
lah.
Jadi tak ada peluang untuk bercakap bahasa Melayu.
Melainkan dengan anda. Tapi katakan kalau anda pulang ke Malaysia, saya tahu adik-beradik anda, ibu anda
berada
di
Malaysia,
kita
bahasa pasar lah, campur-campur. Masih biasa tu. I think the language itu pasal macam mother tongue kan. It doesn't go away now. It's different. Kalau macam French, pasal saya sekarang dekat Alberta, kurang cakap Perancis. Jadi ada perkataan yang kadang susah, like I have to think hard, like, oh, what was it? But then your mother tongue is there. Tahu, you will faham kefahamannya dia, cuma maybe bila kita bercakap gitu ada perkataan yang kita terlupa ke
betul lah,
apa.
betul lah. Yeah, I agree with
Lagipun,
you.
lagipun kalau dengan kawan-kawan kat sini, kat Edmonton, we are small community, Malays from dari Singapura, Malaysia dan Brunei. Then and there's a bigger Indonesian community. But the
common language that
kalau kita kalau kita orang berjumpa, kita orang cakap Melayu lah, mix lah, macam gini lah, cakap pasar gitu, mix. Jadi ada opportunity untuk bahas dalam bahasa Melayu. Tapi kita orang punya community is very small. I think there's like just 20 to 30 people. Compared to, I think the Indonesian community is a bigger community here than the Malay community.
Oh, okay. So you are very close to one another. You keep in touch, especially during Hari Raya, kan?
Gathering. Usually every year. Tahun ni kat rumah saya, tahun depan kat rumah another sister. Begitu. And that pasal it's the only time that we can get to eat our Malay food. You know, we bring potluck lah. Selalunya buat potluck kan. Satu orang buat rendang, satu orang buat sayur lodeh. Kat sini tak ada restoran Melayu.
Okay.
The closest we can get, there is an Indonesian restaurant, is 3 hours away in Calgary. So jadi bila saya move to Montreal, to Canada, and then now to Edmonton, belajar buat roti prata sendiri kat rumah. Belajar buat epok-epok sendiri. Kat Singapore manalah ada time kita nak buat, boleh beli kat bawah blok aja kan.
Bawah blok aja. Tunjuk je.
Kena buat epok-epok sendiri. Ya Allah, learn apa tu, kuih bakar, so many things like you know, the taste is not the same macam kat kedai beli kat Singapore, tapi
but it's okay.
Okay lah, yes.
Kata untuk lepaskan rasa, kadang kita rasa macam mengidam kan. Macam kita tak rasa lauk macam ini, lauk pedas. Which is
sampai jauh sini pun masih kalau nak cari kari babas. It's a rare commodity nowadays because of the supply chain issues kan, with COVID and all that. So there's a lot of like kita punya macam kicap ke apa, kicap manis. Sometimes in the Asian stores ada, tapi recently kurang sikit. Maggi, curry, instant noodles. They have in the stores here, tapi recently it's a rare commodity pasal of the supply chain issues kan, so we're affected.
Correct. You know what, Wati, from your sharing, you should consider to open a mini kedai, mini kedai makan.
Tak adalah.
You never know.
No, I think there's a lot more talented sisters here who cook much better than me, and I don't have patience to cook consistently. My cooking selalunya every time rasa lain.
Dia ikut mood.
Tak boleh consistent kan.
Faham. It follows our mood, right?
Itulah.
Kalau mood macam baik dia macam sedap. Kalau mood macam kelang kabut.
Itulah.
Faham sangat. I think I can relate to that. Okay, let's go back to our main question here that I want to ask you. Okay, Wati, we know that yes, of course, we have gone through life, okay, like what the rest of the sisters, So maybe you can share with us the life lesson that you have learned from your first marriage. I understand that now you're into your second marriage, Alhamdulillah.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Yes.
And how many years you have been in your second marriage?
Just 2 years. We celebrated just 2 weeks ago our second anniversary. So my first marriage, I was married for 18 years. And then I had 3 children from that, 3 boys, Alhamdulillah. And then after 2 years after the divorce, I found my current husband. He's a Muslim convert, Alhamdulillah.
Okay. So he converted before.
No, he converted before me. Before me already. So it's been a real blessing, and my life journey. People say like, and the thing is, because my my ex was from another culture, kan, and then we had differences of culture, and I would say there was abuse, right? He was kind of abusive at some point.
Before that,
Near,
Siswati, there's something maybe we should let the
yeah,
sisters out there know.
yeah.
This first husband of yours, you married through online meeting. Am I
Yes, that
right?
was, you know, we
Maybe
it's
you
quite
can, yeah. And
revolutionary. It
how
was
old were you then? I
I
know you
was
were one of
26.
the
Yeah.
few who
Yes.
married. I'm surprised that, because we were together at that time, masih,
Yes.
macam kita masih gila-gila, masih kita
Yeah.
punya, yeah. So, and when you decided to settle down, because I know you lebih gila daripada I. Tak
Yeah.
lah.
Yeah. Yes, in Singapore I was working in the music industry, kan. I
Industry and
tak pakai tudung,
yeah. Oh,
lain cerita, kan.
that one
Lain
is
tu.
okay. I mean, you are in the entertainment
Zaman jahiliah.
yeah. So you were in the entertainment scene, and I know that you always
Uh-uh.
rub shoulders with, I know Ziana Zain, Salim, Najib
Yeah.
Ali. But
Yes.
I still like your humbleness. It's like wherever I meet you, it's like feel like we are still like that school kid. It's like, hey, hi, Wati, how are you? It's like you're so excited. That's why I say you lebih gila daripada I lah. So bila I got the news that you want to get married, I terperanjat. I mean, it's like, Wati,
Yelah.
settle down. I thought lah celebrity mana kan you dah pilih.
Itu.
Maybe you can let
Yeah, pasal kan, yes, like you said, like I had a very carefree type of lifestyle when growing up, and it was like my arwah, my father kan, like passed away very suddenly when he was on a work trip to Brunei, and that kind of like changed my work perspective. I was like, at that time I'm like, like, what am I doing with my life, kan? It's like I needed more guidance, I needed more like structure. So I started taking classes at Pergas, learning more about Islam, and then eventually wearing the hijab, and um, and also leaving the music industry. And then and that was I would say, I wouldn't say it's like a mistake, but what I did was I thought, okay, now that I am this
on the right
journey,
path.
I'm in my 20s, I'm like mid-20s, learning about Islam. So I met this my ex online, kan, on this called Muslim marriage online. At that time it was still taboo, it was still very revolutionary. This time people meet everyone meet everybody online, kan. But at that time it was very taboo. But I went online and then met this my ex. He was doing his masters in Kuala Lumpur. He's from an Arab country, but he was doing his masters in Kuala Lumpur. And I thought, you know what? Oh, this is the best thing, because he's an Arab. He can help me to read the Quran more better, teach me the religion, But I mean, that was a lesson that I learned, that that's not really the case, right? That's not. You can't. And that's a lesson that I think a lot of converts also get into. They think that they marry someone who will be able to teach them the religion or something, when they had nothing in common. Me with my ex, we had nothing in common. It was just the pure basis that he was a practicing Muslim, and I thought that, oh, he will be able to guide me in my religion, in my deen. But because of the religious differences, and he's very a jealous personality, controlling, so I had a lot of issues with that, right? Like I suppressed who I am. I became, I completely shut out everything that was in my life at that time, and focus on that marriage, and
focus on your
yeah,
family,
and the
raising your
family.
3
Yes,
young
yeah,
children.
yes, yeah. And then like um and that's it. Like I kind of like,
Were you working then? Or you
yes,
were
at that time I
housewife?
was, yes, I was, no, I was so I was working with like Warner Music, and then I had to I quit the job, and I took a huge paycheck cut. I went to work with Pergas, because I thought that, this is a place like I continue, and I love that job, because that's like working with community, and something that I continue to do now. But that I was working with Pergas at that time, and then what happened is that, like, you asked about my life lesson, right? What I tell people is that, when I left my ex, he said, oh, when he left me, he said he regretted the day he met me. But me, no. I tell people I don't regret my life. That's my life lesson. I don't regret it, because that journey was the journey I had to take. I have 3 beautiful boys, and being in that relationship, moving here, it gave me a new perspective, right? I learned so many lessons. It made me the person I am today. So I think the life lesson that I learned is that you own your own story, you own your own narrative. Don't regret it. There will be you can you like for me, like he there were times that he was really abusive, but I don't regret it. I said that's the my life lesson, that you own your own story, that's your own narrative. You make it what you want, and at times it'll be painful, but inshallah everything you will come out good the other way, inshallah.
Siswati, you mentioned that you own your own story, and I think you own your own ending. So that's where you decided to end it off and
Yes.
exit the
Yeah.
marriage in a peaceful way, right?
I mean, no, he didn't. He didn't want to let me go, right? He didn't even
Okay.
want to give me talak. I had to go to 4 different mosques to get the marriage dissolved, kind
Okay,
like
before
through.
that, when you get
Yeah.
married, you were married in Singapore, right?
Yes, but no, I did my nikah in Johor, in JB, because he
Okay.
couldn't, because of Singapore very tight, like immigration wise, and then with the Arab passport, he couldn't easily get into Singapore. So we met because one of my sisters was living in JB, so we had met after we had chatted online. So we met in JB, and
So you
then we
get
had the
married in
nikah in
JB,
JB.
nikah
Yes.
in JB. Okay, then after that, how does the marriage continues? I mean, you are in Singapore,
So
he's
yes,
in
so yeah,
KL.
so for like 3 years, he was still doing his masters and
Masters.
working in
What
Kuala
masters was he
Lumpur.
doing then?
He was doing in architecture because he's an
Okay.
architect, yeah.
Okay.
And then I continued to work in
Working in
Singapore. So
Pergas.
the first 3 years, because of the distance, so I didn't get married. I didn't get my first child until 3 years after the marriage, right?
Oh,
Because of the
okay.
distance, we see each other once in the weekends, once a month, kind of thing. So that's why, like, people ask me, like, 18 years is a long time when we didn't really get along. But if you look at it, there were lots of time when we were apart. Even when he was in Quebec, he was working like out of town, kind of thing. So that's how our marriage kind of lasted that long. Yeah. So for the first 3 years, he was apart, and then because he had difficulty getting residency in Singapore. No, he was working in Kuala Lumpur. He couldn't get
Okay.
residency in
Residency in
Singapore because
Singapore.
I was a PR. In
Yeah,
Singapore, I
yeah.
was Malaysian with a
Yeah,
permanent resident as well, so
correct.
I couldn't sponsor him. So we decided that, why don't we go to somewhere neutral where both of us can start a life together. So we thought, well, maybe we go to New Zealand or Australia or Canada. I went to the embassy, get all the documentation, but in the end we decided on Canada because he had friends already in Montreal. So he said that it was easier to, and then because he spoke French, so because Quebec is like as they have a separate stream than the other parts of Canada. If you want to immigrate there, if you speak French, you get extra points. So it's the professional stream for immigrants. So because he spoke French, and I also had to take, I went to community center, I don't know kat mana, community
In
center kat
Singapore.
Singapore, to
And you
take
took up
French. I
French.
learned French, so I had to show a certificate that I can speak basic French. Then we went to do the interview in Hong Kong. So I remember Mahdi. Yeah. So when we moved to, I got my first child after 3 years. Then when Mahdi was 3 years, my eldest was 3 years old. Then we moved to Montreal. So, but before that, I moved to Kuala Lumpur for 1 year. Lived in Kuala Lumpur for 1 year, in waiting for the visa to get to Canada. Yeah. So I worked for 1 year in Kuala Lumpur as well.
Kuala Lumpur. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I mean, it's like how relationship bring you practically around the world.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And what is your advice to our sisters out there? Maybe, they have someone who is not a Singaporean, who's a foreigner, who just can't marry in Singapore. What is your advice to them? Do you think this is something that is okay? It's okay, it's simple, or there's a lot of steps or a lot of consideration? Because sometimes I wouldn't say love is blind, but sometimes we only look at, I only want to marry that person regardless of where he is from other planets, so long as I get to marry that person.
Yes.
So, but sometimes we have to be, we have to go back to reality. Yeah. So what's your
The thing is, what I've seen is that it depends on who you marry from which country, because of Singapore's tight immigration laws. they see who, if you marry a white guy from the UK, maybe it's easier for him to get status. That's the reality, right?
Yeah. UK, US,
Yes, yeah.
Australia.
If you marry someone, an Arab guy couple, you have to understand that he, every time going to renew the visa, difficulty getting work, at some point the man would feel that he's not thriving. And that, that's where sometimes they want to immigrate, or it causes issues with the marriage. So this is where that was for me why he really wanted to move, because he feel like, he has a master's, but he can't do anything in Singapore. Like he feels he's a professional, so he feels trapped there. He feels like he's not being valued, and that's why they want to go and immigrate to another country, or sometimes leave the sister. So that's where a conversation that you have to have with someone if you're marrying a foreigner, and the difficulty of getting the status, is that that's something that you both have to go through lah. Depending how, siapa yang boleh tahan kan. Yeah, depends kan. Yeah, because I know, I have friends who are married to foreigners still in Singapore, and some of them work well, some of them have separated. So it's not, I don't think, for me, the success of a marriage is not where the person is from, right? It's communication, right? If you can be respectful communication, there's trust. Wherever you are, you can build a life together.
And I think
Yeah.
you support
supporting one another.
Yeah,
Yes,
supporting one another.
yeah.
Like that's his strength. That is what he needs. As a wife, we support, and also
Yes.
we also we need our own time. We need our own things that we want to do, right?
Yes, yeah.
We can't just be bogged down with doing household, taking care of the children.
Yes,
we also want to to make ourselves feel good. So he also have to understand and support us.
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing. That's a good point, because, like, for example, with my ex, he would, like me, I like to volunteer and go out. So, but he was very controlling. If there are men around, he's like, oh, who are they? I feel like, yeah, if you volunteer in the community, it's natural that, I know how to, as a Muslimah, I know how to behave myself. You should trust me, right? So I think those are the conversations, and then especially like what, as you have thought, that financial piece is also important to have that conversation before you get married. What are your life goals? Like, what, like, let's say suddenly, you get married, and then your husband wants to go and do the masters instead of working. So are you prepared for that? Or else it will cause some friction, those kind of things. So that's also an important thing.
So back to communication, and then
Yes.
we have to know if there's an issue, I wouldn't say there's a problem. Definitely there will be an issue. How
Yes.
can we, as a husband and a wife, as a couple, overcome that? Someone has to, right. Someone, if
and I think people need to think in going into a relationship, and this is my lesson that I learned, because my marriage was 18 years long, right? And then I thought, like, okay, now that in my new marriage, because mine was abusive, so I didn't know what was the model of what is a healthy relationship. But with my new marriage, then I realized that we're two separate individuals. We can have disagreements, and it happens, right? We can have arguments, but it's how we argue, in a respectful way, and in tak kutuk mengutuk each other kind of thing, kan? Jadi I think a lot of young couples get into marriages, and then you see, sometimes after a couple of weeks they divorce, because they think like any disagreement is already a toxic relationship or something. Yeah, bad.
True,
It's not. It's not. We have two
different
separate
people.
individuals. Yeah, different people.
From different countries.
Definitely.
Like for your case, different country, different upbringing, different life values. Suddenly you come together, and boom, what you expect? What magic happens?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think we've been sold this Hollywood fairy tale idea of marriage, which is not true. So I think this is the reality that couples go, when you get into a marriage, you have to understand that you will have disagreement, and especially when each milestone, having a child, the child going to school, you will have ideas about what's child's education, every step.
I agree.
Yeah, can.
It's not just about what to eat for dinner or for lunch.
No.
Correct. What course or what school? Yeah, I think I'll give it to you. What school should we send our children? School A or school B, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Then
every milestone that I realized that with my act, every milestone with the kids or with ourselves, when me being from me being a stay-at-home mom when I was in Montreal for 9 years, and then transitioning to working full time, that was also a big thing, right? Like, yeah, because he was so used to me preparing everything at home. I was a stay-at-home mom for 9 years, and then when I was working full time, like he was expecting that I was also, cooking every day, cleaning, doing everything, not helping with the household, which is not possible, right? So I think that's the kind of thing. So like, I think that's the advice for people getting into marriages is like, yeah, have that realistic thing, have all the important conversations before you get married. Yeah.
You know what I learned from you? They say that when you are in a courtship, getting to know each other, open two eyes, open your ears big big. You really
Yes.
have to observe his
Yeah.
mannerism, how he behaves. Because at that
Yes.
point of time, both, not just him, even for us, we always give
Uh-uh.
our best shot, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Our best
Yeah.
look, right? He will see us in our best look, in our best
Yeah.
behavior. Yeah, that's why I say open two eyes and open, and open your heart. But after they said after you get married, yeah, either you close one eye or you close two eyes. You
Yes.
just have to accept them as who you are because you accepted him. You terima that nikah. Right? I
Uh-uh.
mean, you agree. In the
Yeah.
first place, nobody forced us to get married, kan? In
Yes. Yeah.
this world, I mean, in this modern era, basically now everybody menikah atau berumah tangga atas dasar suka sama suka, kan?
Yeah.
Tak
Yeah.
ada,
Uh-uh.
kan? Tak ada alasan cakap.
Tak ada arranged marriage ke apa. Yes,
Exactly. I
it's
mean,
your.
those were the days. Yeah, correct. So that's why my advice to all our young sisters out there, yeah, open your two eyes, your 2 ears, yeah, and you have to open up your heart because sometimes our feelings, do give us that signal, if something is not right. Actually, we shouldn't ignore.
Yes.
I
So
feel.
yeah. Yeah.
That sixth sense. I
Yeah.
think as a woman, we do have that. Yeah.
Yes,
Especially
for me
when
too. Like, yeah, if you talk about red flags, right, before I married my ex, memang I can see it now. There were red flags, kan. Tapi but you didn't want to see that. You want to think
because you
because
close
you
your
are
eyes
in a
then.
yeah.
You're in a fantasy world. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was,
understand.
yeah.
I understand. Yeah, Wati. I mean, it's like it's so interesting to hear. You sharing. Yeah, it's not something that we are regretful about, but yeah, where we are coming from. I really thank you for
Yeah.
your sharing because we want to share with other sisters. It's like this is what you went through. I
Yes.
mean, learn from you rather than they say that the price of learning the mistake from others is so much cheaper than you have to go through the path yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's a good advice. Yeah.
yeah, so this is exactly what I want to portray to our sisters out there. It's like, yes, life is unpredictable. Yeah, jodoh, qadar dan qadar, semua memang Allah sudah tentukan,
Yelah.
betul kan? Tapi dalam masa yang sama, like what you said, Allah kasih kita mata, kasih kita akal. Kan? Kadang kita boleh nampak, memang dah terang-terang, kata orang tu dah apa, siang-siang hari dah boleh nampak yang something is not right, but you just put it one side with the thought that tak apalah, nanti dah kahwin dia berubah.
Itulah.
It's a very
That
scary
doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So tiba-tiba I rasa macam berbual dengan marriage counselor gitu. But this is life, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. For me, you know what? Like I said, I own my story and I also want to break that taboo, of women living abusive relationships. So I now I go do interviews or do talks about with my experience. So letting people know that it's okay. If things are not working out, it's okay to leave, right? Yeah.
Through the proper channel. I think you did.
Yes, through the
You went
proper
through the
channel.
proper channel, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Bukan main lari. Because I hear do some cases where the woman just malam, grab everything, just take their children and just leave the home.
No, but then if it's an abusive situation, yes. You have to, yes, that's what I did because he didn't want to. Mine wasn't in the nighttime because I asked him for talak, he doesn't want, and then he started being physically abusive towards my elders, and then so I arranged to I told the kids when he was away at work, and then we left. Yeah, but because he wouldn't let me go.
Okay.
Right?
So interesting.
Yes, but in situations of abuse, there is that you have to ask when somebody lives in that. Nobody wants to, right? Like people talk about Syrian refugees taking your kids in the boat on the sea. Who wants to do that if you are not living a dangerous situation, right? Nobody wants to do that. So it means that maybe something there was some something that was troubling her. Or, yes, yeah.
So it's a matter of survival. Yeah, I think it's a matter of survival. Yeah, it's either you do it now or you don't know what will happen Don't talk about
We don't
tomorrow. You
know,
don't
right?
even
People don't know.
know.
People maybe, and a lot of times it's like that, right? The man, sometimes people don't know. Maybe at home, he has a drinking problem, couple, like and he hits her when he's at home. But at work, he's okay. People think he's a good guy. Like those
Yeah,
kind of
only we
things.
know
Yeah,
lah. Right? Only
yeah,
we as a husband or wife know what happened inside the
yes,
bedroom, right?
yes,
Outside
yeah, for sure.
outside of our bedroom, we can be smiley and we look happy,
Yes.
but only kita sebagai suami isteri yang tahu what is actually
Mm,
the real thing. Yeah, besides Allah.
yeah.
Yes, and yeah, Sis Wati, I think I can talk to you until tomorrow
Yeah,
sampai lupa
itulah.
maghrib pun. Okay, but I think I have to go to my next question. So maybe I just want
Yes.
to ask from you, what is, I know you've gone through a lot, but I like, your smiley face. You're always so happy. I know when I see you, it's like, I feel that you are the kind of person who don't have any life problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, even
Right?
when I was going through the abuse, I was just smiling like that.
Smiling.
But
That's
yeah,
you.
people don't
That's
know.
you.
People don't
No,
know.
no, no. Yeah. You see, Allah give
Yeah.
you that extra strength because you see, Allah gave you, yes, Allah kasih kita ujian, but at the same time, Allah give you that plus point where you look always very happy and cheerful and joyful. Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
blessing. Yeah. Okay.
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. So, what is your life philosophy? Maybe you can share with us. Yeah.
My life philosophy, I always say, like for me, it's like about being true to myself, right? I'm a very principled person, but I know what is right and what is wrong. And even if it means standing up to someone who's in power or something and saying that no, this is something that's not right, right? And I've had to do that a lot. Like I mean, as a hijabi wearing woman here in Edmonton, you know, since December of 2020, we've had a number of attacks on Muslim women, especially our Black Muslim sisters. So it's anti-Black racism plus Islamophobia, and sometimes you just have to have that courage to just stand up to your true, to your true self, right? Like let's say I can say like, oh, because hijab wearing women are being attacked, I can take out my hijab, right? But I like, for me, no, this is me, this is my identity, I will not give it up, so but what do I have to do to ensure that we are safe? So I created an organization called Sisters Dialogue, where we provide supports for Muslim women. We do we have mental health referrals. We send care packages to women who are attacked. So we create a community that cares for the women, because if we want to be true to ourselves and we don't want people to dilute what we are, but then we have to learn to protect our own too, right? So that's what I do. Yeah, but at the same time, I also do respect women who have had to change the way they wear the hijab or something, take out the hijab, because it's real fear. When you're in fear, Allah understands, kan? That's not, but for me myself, I I want to stay true to myself, right? Like let's say if I see an organization that's not doing work that I feel is helpful to the community, even if they invite me to speak to the organization, I will decline, because like it's about being principled, and I think people respect you, and in the end people know who you are and what you stand for. And I think that's my life philosophy, just that. And the other thing that's important, my life philosophy is community.
Yeah, I can
Like,
see
yeah.
that you do a lot of poems, a lot of writings in your posting, every posting about women's right, about
Yeah.
Islam. I can see that you indirectly you're sharing to those people who don't know Islam that well. What is Islam all about, right? I can
Yes.
see
Yeah.
that all in your writings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There is that that aspect, as well as community, as in like keeping caring for people. Yeah, I like, I mean, my act of love is, I mean, what they call it, is service, right? So yes, like people, like I like to serve and take care of others, ensure, and I think in doing that, it keeps me sane as well, it keeps me healthy as well, mentally and physically. Yeah, and I do it through art sometimes, like, yeah, writing poetry or all that. Yeah, I enjoy that. I think that's a way for me to express some
Yourself.
feelings that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Since school days, yeah, you have been very art person. It's like, yeah, writing is your. I
Yeah,
can see that writing is your passion. Yeah. So now that
yeah,
it is good, that you find your so-called your outlet, you find the ways to help the community, and I believe that it gives you great satisfaction.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. It's a, at the end of the day, you do it for Allah, right? Yeah. And that's one thing you talk about me smiling. Like I say, like it, even in my most darkest days, like I'll be outside and I will smile. And there's so many times when I go outside and then there were people who comment, Wati, oh sister, you have Noor on your face. And I will feel like an imposter. Because at that time, when I'm so low, sometimes, my solat, tak terjaga and all that, because I was so depressed. It's true, kan? This is the reality. Okay, but then when I go out, people will say, what, sister, you have Noor on your face. And I'm saying, like, Allah, what's this? You're tricking me? Like I'm not being the best Muslim, but why are people saying they see Noor on my face? So Allah is telling me something, that there's something there that I can strive to do. Kan? So that I need another thing about me, I suka nangis. You know
Oh, I
me.
know that. Yeah. Oh, she's a very she get emotional very fast. So, but it's okay. It's okay, Wati.
Yeah.
I'm also going towards that also. Yeah, I also
Yeah.
get emotional very fast. But it's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, it's because you are real, you see. I mean, knowing you, I've seen that over the years. You don't change much. I mean, it's like you are still you. I still feel like you are
Yeah.
still that 16-year-old
Yeah,
happy
okay, we can
girl.
chat like macam biasa je kan.
Yeah, that's why.
Ah,
And I miss those days. I think our secondary school years are the best. Yeah. I learned
yeah,
about
very
life.
nice.
Seriously,
Yeah.
without you
Yes.
realizing, actually you and a few of our friends,
Yeah.
Aisha, taught me about life. Really.
Mm.
Yeah, taught me about that. Life is not just about good grades. Life is
Yeah.
not just about passing, and forget about other
Mm.
things in life. But you make me see the other side of life. Life can be fun and funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know where is your boundaries. Yeah, at the end of
Yes,
the
yes.
day, whatever we
Yes.
do, we just have to know where is our boundaries. Yeah,
Yes.
especially for us as a Muslim, lady, and now that we are married, wherever we are, we still need to have that. Yeah, at the end of the day, lah, Allah is always watching us. Yeah,
Yes,
satu tu
for
jangan lupa
sure. Yeah.
diri lah, kan?
Yeah, jangan lupa diri. Yeah, that's a good way
Yeah, and I
to
think
put
we are
it. Yeah.
blessed. I think yourself, I think all the sisters out there, I think we are blessed, if you have a very understanding husband. I think that is a bless in
Alhamdulillah.
itself, Berarti, we
Uh-uh.
think that our husband, support us, never stop us from
Uh-uh.
doing, kan? Know what we want to
Uh-uh.
do. Yeah, because sometimes we cannot explain to
Especially
them.
I dapat suami lebih much younger. Second
Orang tak
suami.
dengar. Kita je yang dengar. Orang kat luar tu tak dengar. Wow, lucky you lah. Okay. Tak apa, nanti off air, I tanya you how much years younger.
Oh,
Okay. Later. Tak payah mention kat sini. Okay,
tak payah.
actually there's one more question. Wow. What is your relationship with money? Or what do you think women and money, their relationship should be? Good, bad, or something that we should be empower ourselves with?
I think it's important that we have that that knowledge on how we manage our money, and also to have access to funds, because I've seen where when you work with abused women, especially when sometimes the husbands are from here and they bring their wives from overseas, kan, and when they leave, the wife doesn't even know how to use ATM. I think it's important that women be given that autonomy to the empowerment to learn about financial literacy,
and to control maybe to control family finance, not everything, but part of it, especially marketing, right?
Yes, like for within our relationship, we have we have a joint account, but I manage I have a spreadsheet that I manage our month-to-month expenditure and all that, and then we put aside, like for us here we have what's called the education fund for the kids when they go university, that it's already they won't be in debt. We don't want our kids to graduate with debt, so where we put aside, we invest in that, so that that will help with the education, but honestly, I'm not a big like macam savings type of person, doing a lot of investments kind of thing. I like to enjoy life.
It's the basic things,
Yes,
you need to know that every month,
life.
there are certain expenses we need to meet, but at the same time you have that extra, money that you can pamper yourself. It's nothing wrong.
Yes. Yeah, that's why we have like what we call savings fund and all that that just deduct every month so that we don't have to think, so we know that it's there, so that's easier. But then I'm the kind like, let's say I mean, like I feel like this week, like I don't feel like cooking and we order food couple, like those kind of things. I feel like those
that is little life joy,
the thing is, I was seeing there was a little clip that I saw, which I don't really agree with, but the person said that the difference between someone who's rich and someone who's poor, but then also, rich and poor is
Yeah.
also debatable.
Subjective.
But it's saying like a person who's poor is because they work for that money, and then after they earn it, they feel that it's their right to spend it.
Okay.
But then someone who's rich, they work for that money, but
save it and invest it first.
Yes, yeah.
Then
So they say there's the, but
spend.
but I think like that's me, right? I work, and like sometimes, sometimes I don't feel like cooking, and then because my husband, he can only cook craft, what's this, mac and cheese and grilled cheese and nothing very fancy. So
Cheese
so
and
he will say
cheese
like
and
that.
cheese.
He will always say to me, "It's okay, you deserve it." Yeah, no, he was saying something.
Nampak dia dengar.
No, I'm not making grilled cheese. No, sorry. I'm live. Sorry, sayang. I call him sayang also.
Yeah, so cute. It's okay. Yeah, you call sayang. Our people here call
Yeah.
honey. Yeah.
Honey,
So
lain lah.
tak lah. Orang trying to
Yeah.
say, kita orang Melayu
Yeah.
panggil honey. You Masaleh panggil sayang.
Panggil sayang.
Kan? Yeah. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so but I don't feel that, because sometimes he will say like, you had a hard day, you deserve it, just order the food, man. And that's my attitude, right? But I don't know why, like they say like, oh, well, we are poor because we
No.
we
You
want
have to
to
read in between the lines. No. Okay, let me correct that. I mean, for those of you who think that, I agree where you're coming from, because maybe you look at the extreme side. Basically, what that phrase is trying to say is that you are poor because, that means today you got your money, you got your paycheck. Straight away the next day you spend everything. You see?
Okay. Yes.
Not actually, basically what they're trying to say, there's a difference compared to, we are somewhere in the middle. You are in the middle. Yes, you get your paycheck, then you put aside certain amount for saving. That means you save to spend. Then after that you save to save. Yeah. Then another one is you have a little bit of percentage to have fun. You do save.
Yes.
So I think you're not under the category of poor. When I say poor, it's like sometimes they spend beyond what they earn. That is being poor. Example, they earn, let's say, $3,000 or whatever amount. Let's say 3,000, but that month the expenses is 3,500. That's where you're poor. You earn, you spend more than you earn. That will make you poor because you are going into negative. But so long as whatever you earn, you manage to save 5 to 10%. If you hear to any of my what I have been preaching, for the last 10 over years, is that you must save 10 to 15% of what you earn. Then you must put aside for your expenses. And that's how it start for beginners. It's not like I get, I spend. That is the mentality or the mindset that we have to change. You get the money, you save, then you put aside what you need to pay for your necessities, your bills, your transport, your food.
But then for some people who are earning just to get by, it's also difficult, right? Like the thing, that's where the thing is, where we have safety nets, right? Like in terms of like in Alberta we have minimum wage and all that, so that people don't, like a lot of people, they can barely really the check comes in the next day, all going to bills and everything. It's not that they are spending and like just wasting their money kind of thing, but it's really just, I think there is that point where we are in a world where there's so much economic disparity. Like somebody can be like
rich.
3 billionaire, and somebody that is there's that
income disparity. I understand.
Yes,
I understand the rich and the very poor.
Sometimes it's when people are under the poverty line too, it's not to their own doing, and there's a lot of other things. But of course, like if people have the means to learn about financial literacy, I think that's something that they should do. But I don't think that's for everyone too. I think like depending on like if we like if somebody's really struggling and on social assistance.
Okay, Wati, I understand where you're coming from. That is another chapter altogether.
Yes,
Yeah, we are not going to discuss so much, but
okay,
what I can
we're not.
say, what I can
Yes,
say, just to wrap it up, is that it starts with the mindset. That's
yes,
all I can
for
say.
sure.
It starts with the mindset. Yeah. So whether you are the most poorest person on earth, it starts with a mindset. So yeah, that's all I can say, because your mindset can turn things around. And that's totally another set of topic. I'm so glad I have you on our show today. Yeah, Wati.
Thank
So
you.
before we end off, can
Yes, I
I
need to
have my
ask you.
question?
Yes.
Oh, totally like, okay, I jadi interview
Yeah.
pula. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
What's my question?
Zarina, I've always admired you for, you're always a go-getter, so much energy, every time I see you, because we are so far away, I only see like on Facebook or whatever, you're always on some new adventure, doing new things, new shows, mashallah. I really admire that about you. Like, what keeps you motivated? Like what drives you?
Okay, Wati, thank you for the question. Okay, basically, just like you and me, I'm also a normal, ordinary woman. Okay, I'm a wife. I have children. I have husband. I have mother-in-law. I have responsibilities. Okay,
Yes.
it's not that this is something that I do full time. Okay, this is something that I do on the side.
Okay.
Okay, what keeps me going is that, you see, the thing is that oh yeah, I also have my ups and downs. Yeah, dear sisters out there, okay, you see me so perky, so chirpy, but let me tell you, I also have my ups and downs. Okay, we are not robot. Sometimes we need to pause and to reflect on what we have been doing. So coming back to your question, okay, what keeps me going? You see, the thing is, I realize one thing is that I like to share good things. Number one, and number two, I like to connect great people. This is something that I think you know that, right?
Yes,
If you see me, you always like, hey, have we met? We should meet up. Whenever.
yeah,
By the way, whenever Wati is back in Singapore, I'll make it a point to meet up with her, with other
yes,
friends, right? Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
because that's me. It's just me. I don't know why. Maybe because of my past work. So because it's all about meeting people, then I realized that now I don't want to meet people because I want to get their business. I find that now it's more interesting. I want to meet people because of their story, because of what they have gone through. Interesting things, what I can
Yeah.
learn. Yeah, what I can learn. So that is the thing that keep me going. Basically, the concept is quite similar. It's just that maybe when I first started in 2009, I focus more on financial literacy, because that's where I'm familiar with. So you always start with
Yes.
something that you are familiar with. If you are good with
Okay.
cooking, start with cooking.
Yes.
Don't start with something big. So that's where I started. I start with financial literacy. Then I realized that, hey, financial literacy is about sharing, about giving knowledge, but probably the knowledge is not interesting enough for people to
Okay.
listen. Yeah. But alhamdulillah, I did not give up. So I ventured into other topics. Then slowly over time, your circle just get bigger. You get to meet new
Yes.
people. Then I realized that, hey, life issues is very interesting. So actually everything I would say is all Allah punya planning lah, I would say. Allah start with me doing something small, something that I'm familiar with, then He slowly just expand my circle. Yeah, so now we are in 2021. Of course, my ring get bigger, and that's
Yes.
why you look like as if like I have so much energy, like I have done so many things, but it's just that I'm still doing the same thing. It's just that maybe my concept, my idea just grew a little bit slowly over the years.
Okay. Yeah.
So where do I get my energy? Actually, from people like all of you. I can't do this without you, Wati. How can I do this every week, for the next 8 weeks? Because I have beautiful sisters out there who want to share with me, right? I'm just
Yeah, it's true.
as I said, I'm just a story seeker. I just seek and dig story from you. You're the one who does the talking.
But you have your own stories to tell too.
Yeah, of course. We all are our own storybook. Yes, of course. But like I said, yeah, my story is one thing, but you guys, yeah, maybe one day we can compile all the story and make into a book, eh?
Yes. Yeah. Why
Okay?
not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
stories from our sisters all over the world, from across the globe.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time,
No,
Siswati.
thank you so much. Yeah, it's so nice to see you.
So nice to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really macam terubat rindu gitu.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, is there anything you want to shout out to our sisters in Singapore, your family, if they are watching?
Uh, oh, no, just yeah, just miss everyone, my family and friends. The last I was back in Singapore and Malaysia was in 2017. So we planned to go back last year, but because of the pandemic, yeah. Inshallah, soon we'll be back and we can reconnect, inshallah.
And so you'll be
Yeah.
going back to, I think, Malaysia, right? Because your mom.
Yeah, because now only my brother is in Singapore because my two sisters are in Kuala Lumpur, so my mom is there.
In Kuala Lumpur. Okay.
Yeah, so I have siblings everywhere. I have one sister in New York, one brother in the UK,
Right.
Malaysia,
So
Singapore.
you can really fly all over the world.
Yeah, that's
one
the
day,
thing.
inshallah, I want to follow you fly. Yeah, and
Yeah, come when you come to
Right.
Canada, inshallah.
Yeah, that's right. It's so nice, right, to have sisters in UK, in Canada, in
Yes,
Australia.
yeah.
It's like, wow,
Itulah,
everything is settled. It's
yeah.
just that I just need to book my plane.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Siswati, and thank you to all the sisters out there who have been watching. This is, I think, something that we have learned. Yeah, it's a bit longer this time because I feel that Wati has something good to share. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I've learned.
Oh, was it longer? Oh, so sorry.
Slightly longer. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I can't stop you. Yeah, because you really have something to share. And if this is something that sisters out there are going through, if you need any assistance or any help, you can just PM me. Yeah. If you want to speak to Siswati directly, I can always link you up. Yeah. Don't worry.
You can do that. Yeah.
She's a very nice person. She's very approachable. Yeah. We can always talk offline. Yeah. If really there's a pressing issues that you need, like I said, this is my objective to link good people, great people with the knowledge or with the experience that they have gone through. We learn from them so that we will not make the same mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Okay. So my dua to you. Yeah, I really wish that we can meet soon. Yeah, we can meet soon. Hopefully with all this over, we can meet in person. Yeah, and my prayer to you and your family, especially your 3 boys dah besar, mesti dah bujang dah. Dah bujang. So
yours also.
anak kita dah bujang, kita ni dah tua.
Yes, itulah.
Okay, so sisters out there, make sure you check it out, you share, give your comment, and do watch us next week. Oh yeah, next week there's a special edition. Next week is Christmas. You see, it's so fast, right? Next week is Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, we are 1 week away from Christmas. So because it's Christmas, it's a holiday season, I feel I want to share more. You know what? Next week I'll be bringing a special edition segment where I'll be talking to a money expert all the way from Kuala Lumpur. Madam Rohani. Okay, Puan Rohani Shahir, she is actually, Siswati, for your info, she is one of the reason why I started what I'm doing. I was so inspired by her. Yeah, the way she talk, the way she speak, it's like, you'll see later, you will see us competing the way we speak. Sama ke tidak?
Nanti kita
boleh compare.
to listen to it.
So next week, 25th December, okay, if you can watch us live, it will be good. If not, no worries. Always watch the replay anytime. Nak masuk tidur, while on your bed, please not in the toilet lah. People listen to all this in the toilet. But it's like, while you are driving, do listen and do post the question. I'll be opening the question to all of you. Anything about money issues. Our topic will be about how to survive or get over COVID for the new year in 2022. Yeah. So all the best to you. Thank you, Wati Rahmat.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zarina, for having me. Inshallah.
I wish you were here. I can hug you.
Yes, inshallah. We'll sure hug, inshallah.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye. Yes.